In a world clouded by noise,
Truth is waiting in the quiet
it whispers.
until someone dares to listen.
She is the Oracle, Tammy De Mirza, a world-renowned intuitive.
A messenger of what's hidden
She sees what others cannot.
and speaks the truths you have been seeking. And he is the master, Sifu Rafael, a master instructor, strategist,
A guide who leads with discipline
turning wisdom.
into action. Together,
We awaken what's been buried
we ignite the hunger for truth,
and we challenge illusions.
guiding you to your next level of power. Two powerful souls unite to awaken what's been buried.
To break what's been bound and to speak what others want. The Oracle,
And the Master,
it's time.
It is time.
Good morning, friend, and everyone who's listening. And Poppy decided to bark just then. This is live.
Yes, and everything and anything can happen.
Absolutely, and that's okay.
Yeah.
So,
That's the beauty of life, right?
I'm sorry.
I said that's the beauty of life.
Yes, it is very spontaneous and go with the flow. I was going to tell the audience, remind them, every single time that I see you, if I ask you a specific question, you always answer the exact same thing. And everything you do, every time you do, I start laughing like, that's right. How are you?
I am exceptional and getting better every day.
I am great. See how simple mine is?
Getting greater every day.
Well, there's always something going on in my world, that is for sure.
No doubt, no doubt. That's what the beauty of life is, right? I love today's topic, dream to reality. And I know that you understand this probably deeper than most people.
Yes.
So I'd love for you to take the reins and gallop away, but take us for the ride.
Well, I think the very first thing, and this is something that I learn with my clients all the time, is we think we have a dream, something that we know or wonder or would really like to do. And very often with clients, I will say, if money wasn't an object, if time wasn't an object, if family wasn't an obstacle, all these things, what would you be doing? What would you be doing? So to me, that is the dream, which equates to, that's really what you're supposed to be doing in this lifetime. And I'm going to tell you a wild story. I was driving to work one day. I was a master seamstress. I was a soft goods designer. And I decided that, gosh, if I'm skiing and I break a leg and I can't work, and my daughter decided to come back and live with me instead of her father, I need consistent income instead of just being a solopreneur. And so I was actually going to work. I was in a sales position. I was really good at it. I was learning. Nobody trained me. So I'm literally going to all these men, because it was a freight company that I was working with, and saying, hey, will you teach me how to do my job? If you'll ask me questions, I promise you I'll go out to the car. I will call the company. I will find out what your answers are, but I don't know what I'm doing. And they all loved it. And they actually helped me. But one day on my way to work, I heard, you have this goal and this dream, and you are denying it. And I said, what? Yeah, you didn't come in this lifetime to not experience that. So when are you going to stop making excuses for not having it or doing it and actually go in? And I went, wait a minute. So I have been saying out loud, I don't want to do that. I have convinced myself for 5 years. I have told so many people, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do that. And I heard, well, it doesn't really matter how many times you say you don't want to do it, how many times you justify or avoid it. It will not go away because it's in your DNA. And I went, oh, shit. And so I said, okay, show me what to do. Show me what to do. And it was about something very big in my life. And I'm not going to mention what it was, but I asked, what's the first step for me? And I heard very clearly what to do. I did it that day. I'm like, stop denying who you are, what you really want. So I said all that to say this. I ask my clients all the time, what do you want? Sifu, do you know how many people actually answer that for me when I ask them? Zero.
A big zero.
Zero. We don't really sit and think about what we really want. We're basically surviving.
Mm.
That is not thriving. So when you don't know what you want, how can you bring or think about bringing a dream into a reality? Because the truth is, like me, we are taught to avoid it. We're taught it's okay. We'll even justify, it's okay if I don't do that, or it's okay if I don't have that because I really don't want it, or I'm clueless. I don't even know what I want. So when we get out of the head and into the heart, and there's a thing that I learned quite a few years ago that I'm just going to give the audience right now. When you're thinking too much and you're spinning and you're going nowhere because you're running on a hamster wheel around and around and around and nothing is really changing in your life, there's something that I was given a few years ago that I think would be helpful. And that is, I command my thoughts to go from my head into my heart.
Mm.
I command the thoughts in my head to go into my heart. I command the thoughts in my head to go into my heart. And then you count backwards, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reset. It's powerful, isn't it?
It sure is.
Well, I've needed a lot of tools along the way.
It's very interesting when we're talking about dreams to reality. I recently spoke to a person, and we were talking about your epitaph, right? Or what should I say is, what do you put on your tombstone?
Mhm.
If you could do it today, before you died, if you were the one in charge of putting on your tombstone, would it be a book? Would somebody have to sit there, bring some coffee and so forth and go, oh, I got to read this tombstone? No. Usually what you see on a tombstone is very little. It is beloved mother, father, son, whatever. And it's the date you were born and the date you left.
Mm-hmm.
But if you could put a phrase in that tombstone, and this person said to me, I would put left empty. I'm like, left empty? What the heck? And so they explained, they said, most people, so here's a question that I usually ask a lot is, what is the cemetery full of?
Skeletons.
Dead dreams.
Oh,
Dead dreams. And I've been posing that question for so many years. And most people say skeletons, dirt, these different things. But when I say dead dreams, it makes them think. And so this person said, you asked me this question 1,000 times, and finally the answer came to me. That's why I said empty, because I'm not coming here with all my dreams because I lived them. That was powerful.
yes.
So even though I posed the question so many times to this person, and eventually they pondered on it, and then they said, I don't want to go to my grave with unfulfilled dreams.
Yeah.
So I thought that was beautiful. But most people go empty. Like I said, I even said empty.
That's funny. My first thought when you said that was she had fun
Mm,
and she didn't take no for an answer. And then my mind started being flooded with all these thoughts. I like that. I appreciate you sharing it. So I have a very personal question for you.
sure.
What is your dream?
I still have to dream it because I keep dreaming and doing. So my dream, for example, every night when I go to sleep, I love dreams. Oh my gosh. Every night before I go to sleep, I ask for guidance during my dreams. Guide me, speak to me. I'm talking to God. And I said, direct me, give me a script. This way, tomorrow I can actually say exceptional and getting better every day because I don't want to be the same guy I was yesterday. So, therefore, when I dream, I I've woken up in the middle of the night. Middle of the night for some people it could be whatever time, but sometimes for me, I get a 3:19 alert,
No
and
thanks.
and I start writing. I've written so many books. I haven't published them. I don't know why. I'm thick-headed, but I've written all kinds of books and ideas because they came to me in a dream, and it's that guidance that I ask for. And so there's been so many times where I can't stop writing. I write. And it might be gibberish to anyone else, but to me, it means something. And then I have to see how can I fulfill the dream. And so my mission in life fully is to help as many people as I possibly can. And I've heard a lot of people say they want to help 1 million people. I want to help this man. I can't put a number on it because if I put a number, it's almost like I'm putting a ceiling on it. I have no ceilings. I want to keep moving on and on. So, how do I help as many people as possible? And sometimes there's opportunities that show up. And the opportunities are because you're letting the world know that you're not going to stay stagnant, that you're going to live your dream. I never thought that the possibilities of what we can dream about can actually come true. Can I share something with you that's happening currently? And I even texted you about it. So I'm going to put up something. If anybody wants to help out, it's this, right? Vote. My name is Rafael Gomez, right? I know people call me Sifu. Sifu means teacher in Chinese. So vote for Rafael Gomez. And what is the vote for? I'm not running for office. No. It's called the runway, right? And if I win, if I get enough votes, I will be walking Fashion Week down the runway. And the reason I entered is because it's about story. What is your story, your life story? What is it, something that's happened in your life that impacted you and maybe can help the world? And so my stories have really impacted me. But I think that my stories, because of resilience of moving forward, can help someone else. That's the only reason I said yes to this opportunity. So if you get a chance, vote yes for me
You're going to have
because
to put that back up again because I think you took it down too fast.
I did take it down. So
And
the
by the way,
possibility,
I'm sorry. By
go
the
for it.
way, if you do, I believe you will win and walk down the runway. I taught modeling for 4.5 years. Let me tell you some things about walking on a runway and the placement of the head, the face, the way that you walk. and even the way you turn. Okay.
Attitude as well.
Yes, you know what is really funny? You can't see it. And when they were first teaching us, when I was in these classes, I actually took it because I was going through a divorce. I weighed 100 pounds. I looked like I was from a concentration camp. I was in trouble, and I decided to take the modeling just because I wanted to work on my self-esteem. And then one thing led to another, and I did some modeling, and I did a runway show, and I did, all these things. And then I taught for 4.5 years, and it really helped me. But I learned when you're watching these models on the runway and they all look like they're walking the same, they're not. They each have this innuendo, this little taste of their personality involved in it. And if you don't get that, you're not going to make it in the modeling world. And so I wouldn't teach you all of that, but I would teach you finesse, how to turn, and how to move your head, and how to walk in presence.
That's it. Walk
You
in
don't need a
presence.
signature walk. That's years of development. But how to hold yourself when you're on that stage and own it. I am presence, if you know what I mean.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the opportunity, that you can win money. I really don't care about the money. I mean, don't get me wrong. Who doesn't like money? But the opportunity to impact someone's life is bigger to me than anything else. It always has been. I'm not the guy who says, I have to. No, I'm not that guy. So for me, it's always about how do I help somebody? How do I make somebody understand that their life is beautiful and they're worth more than sometimes they give themselves credit for? So that's the reason I need to win, to help somebody see
I
that in
think your
them.
story would help so many people if people heard where you've
Mm,
come from, I mean, and if you can do it, we can do it.
yeah.
It's good.
So it's called Next Runway Star.
Yeah,
Right?
there you go.
And there's my link for you to do it. If you don't got the QR code, I put it in the chat as well. Um, listen, it doesn't cost you anything to vote. It takes you a couple of seconds. Actually, it does cost you something. It costs you your time. So if you have 30 seconds, and you can vote, and then you can also see my story a little bit, right? Because we all have a story, but I didn't realize that my story can help someone,
Yeah.
right? Story of resilience, of not giving up, or getting better every day.
Well, I have a question for you because it was generic. Your dream of helping people with what? How?
Themselves. We live in a world where everybody is trying to chase someone else's dream. Oh, look at that person. They live in that beautiful house. Oh, look, they drive that beautiful car. Oh, look, they have that beautiful spouse or that partner. And they're looking at other people. This is why celebrities are so well celebrated. That's why we call them celebrities, right? Because we celebrate them. But I've been in the presence of so many celebrities, and all the time I'm in front of a celebrity or whatnot. I don't see them as a celebrity. I see them as somebody who has different skills than I do. I see them as a human being. And you know what happens? They appreciate that. In the beginning, they want the status. Later on, they're trying to hide, put sunglasses, give me a hat. I don't want people recognizing. And when somebody sees them for who they are, another human being who has a soul, who has feelings, who can cry, who can feel sad, who can be hungry, then they go, thank you for seeing me as a person, not as my celebrity status. And so that's why whenever I'm in front of a celebrity, they respect me for me respecting them as a human being.
Yeah, but I still don't understand how you're going to help people. If this is a dream and this is what I'm talking about with people talking about dreams, the universe wants you to define it. So how do you help people?
Well, I help them by believing in themselves. That's
Okay.
number one. I help them by communicating better. So yes, I do have a communication school. So I teach them how to communicate, whether they want to get on a stage, on a podcast, go to an interview, communicate better with their spouse. So communication is probably one of the biggest things that we can consider, because communication starts the minute you wake up. And it's the words we say even to ourselves. We are overall hurting ourselves when we say things like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough. This is why I love the word yet, a 3-letter word, yet, Y-E-T. I can't do that yet. Yet is the word of possibility. If we don't use the word yet, then you may be right. You may not be able. But when we put, I can't do that yet, that means you're going to do the due diligence to be able to eventually. Who knows how long it'll take for that yet to come to fruition? But as long as you're willing to do it. And so my goal is to help people put that word there so that now they take the action in order to make it the dream to come true.
So you're wanting people to identify who they are and then use their voice and come out of hiding, basically. You didn't say this, but is that a good way to say it?
That's correct.
To be their authentic selves and to put the walls down.
Right.
And to say, I am here and I'm going to let you know me. That's a scary thing, but that's a big dream for other people. My dreams are more about experiences. Like I was just in Bali with a client, and one of the things that I decided years ago when I saw Eat, Pray, Love was that I was going to go to Bali and go to Ketut's property, which oddly enough, let me tell you what Ketut means in Bali, his name. You know, he played himself on that movie, and he had really bad teeth, and he giggled like a kid, and he was very innocent. I had his son as the one who did the palm reading and the blessings and putting the rice on your head and throwing water all over you and tying this little bracelet around my wrist. And he said, you wear this for a year. And I just looked at it and said, I will wear you until you fall off, until I'm finished and I don't need you anymore. But in Bali, there were a lot of ceremonial things and splashing you with water and saying things over you. And I found out that Ketut's name means fourth child. So
What?
fourth child. So every single first male child has the same name. Every single second male child has the same name. Third, fourth. Ketut is the last. They start back with one. Same thing for the females. So even though they have names, they're known by, I'm number 4.
Wow. Interesting.
So for me, the dream is to have experiences, to go places, because I already know that I'm touching humanity even by being there. And one of the things that happened with my client is her eyes are getting opened and her abilities to be a clairvoyant and to see opened when we walked into a fountain, and I'm in front of her and I have on this ceremonial green, like halter type thing with my bathing suit underneath and a pink sash, red or pink. And I get into the water and you go to the fountains and you say a prayer and then you drink from the fountain 3 times and then you put your head underneath. They say shower, but you're really just letting the water come over you. And I had to do that in front of every single fountain. And I was in front of Maria, my client, and she said, Tammy, I swear to God, as soon as you walked in the water, your energy went like this in the water, and every single person was touched. And I was watching the reactions of the faces of the people in the water. When the energy hit them, she said, "You weren't even trying anything." I said, "No, I was just being with me. I was just doing my thing. I was being reverent." She said, "Every single person in that fountain got healed." And I was like, "You saw this?" She said, "Everywhere you moved, that it was white, pure energy, and it would just go out." And I said, "Thank you for sharing that with me." So what I want to say is that in the midst of us having even our personal dreams of me going to Bali and a client actually paying for it. I mean, what's a better way to travel to Bali than a
There's no better
client for it?
way.
You get paid for working and your time and the trip, and it's your dream. And that dream touches everyone, everyone. So my dreams are more now because I know I'm effective. I know I'm reaching people. My dreams are more personal, but that affects all of humanity. So everywhere we went in Bali, they were hugging us. "We don't want you to leave. We don't want you to leave. Why do you have to go to another hotel?" You know, "I loved being with you. Will you let me be your driver tomorrow?" You know, whatever it is, when you're resonating in the energy and the knowing of you, you're changing the world. So one of the things that I'm doing is that last year I went to Egypt by myself. I climbed Mount Sinai. I went into the King's Chamber. I experienced 3 miracles inside the King's Chamber. Then I slept in the White Desert. And this year, my dream was to take 10 people along with me. I have 10 people.
Mm,
We are going back to Egypt in October.
nice.
Then next year, I have become really good friends with His Eminence, Shyalpa Rinpoche from Nepal. And what you said earlier kind of relates to this. We actually had this conversation the other morning about how I don't treat him like a deity or a god. I treat him like a human being. And he loves that about me. I never like bow down and worship. I know the man sits on thrones. I know he is the person.
Mm.
But to me, he's my friend. And he was taking me around on his compound and showing me overlooking from the mountain in his compound. And he said, "You see this?" And I said, "Yes." And he said, "You are never taking anybody to Bali again. You're coming here in the Himalayas and you're going to teach from here."
Mm.
So now that's a dream.
Nice.
So I'll be taking a group to the Himalayas next year.
Very cool.
So the reason that I was pushing you about a dream is because I know you're doing many things. But if we don't define it, then the universe, this is what happens when you say, "I want to do this," not want from lack of, "I'm scared I can't, I don't believe I can," but I want to do it because I want to do it. It's in my heart. It's in my DNA. It's what I'm supposed to do. When you do that, the universe gets excited and goes, "Oh, she or he is placing their order." But when we just say, "I would like to go somewhere."
Right.
One of my business coaches was so funny. He would say, "You not placing a distinct order or being purposeful about what it is like going to the airport and saying, 'I want to buy a ticket.' And they're going, 'Where to?' 'I don't know. I just want to go somewhere. I got my suitcase.' Security, get this person out." So I appreciate you going deeper into that. And I think that's one of the things that people do not do.
Right. It's about realizing your dreams and not just putting them on, even on paper, right? It's taking actions on it. But you're right. Just wishing on something doesn't always happen.
So what's a personal dream of yours?
That's very interesting. It's been put in my heart, it's been put in my mind that I need to go to the desert.
Do you want to go with me to the White Desert?
I might have to. I might have to, right? And that would be a phenomenal. If you and I can teach together, oh my gosh, that would be oof. We can make it happen. All we have to do is stop dreaming about it and make it happen. Right? But for me, it's been I've always been in the pursuit of something bigger than me. Because it's not about me. And the desert keeps calling me. I don't know why yet, but I keep pursuing it. And so Arizona keeps calling me. I've been to Arizona so many times. I even went last year and actually looked for property for commercial space and a home.
Wow.
I want to keep New York, but I think that eventually I will have a second place that I will call home, and it's going to be out there somewhere.
Wow.
And everybody's like, "What part of Arizona?" I'm like, "I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I know that the feeling will." And I've gone to so many different places in Arizona, and I know it's there. I just don't know exactly which particular place until I get there, and it's going to say, "This is it."
Mm. I'll be in Scottsdale for a movie premiere that I'm in. It's going to be in a movie theater in
Oh,
Scottsdale.
nice.
I had not been to Arizona, and I went twice within 2 months of each other, and I was on
Right.
stages. So this time will be for the movie.
Very good. When is that happening?
September. I think it's around the 17th, 18th, something like that. We're actually going to be going into a movie theater with the red carpet and the evening gown and the and then watch the movie that they produced that I was interviewed for last year. It's not me acting in the movie, it's me being me and talking
Mm,
and being
very
interviewed.
good.
So I'm looking
Very
forward to it. And Marie Diamond from the movie The Secret
Mhm.
became my really good friend after that. And she even gave me, she found out I was going to Egypt, and she gave me this brass ring that had, she said it had the coded things from Egypt. I still sleep with that underneath my pillow because she found out I was going to Egypt by myself. And she said, I travel with this and you need it. It is now yours. And she gave it to me. And as soon as I touched it, I was like, whoa, this is the energy of Egypt. Because I'd been to Egypt before, but going this time by myself
Mm,
was a totally, I've never traveled by myself and planned anything like this. But every single time I walked out the door, my God was there and the driver, and they took me. Sleeping in the Sahara, let me just talk to you about that for a minute, because there's a reverence and a quietness I cannot explain. And your breathing is loud. And if you go to my YouTube, Tammy De Mirza Public, there was a video that I published because the sun is setting and the sun is rising. And so I just did the rising and did the sky and showed the setting. And I was whispering, and it sounds like I'm almost yelling. And so there was and the Bedouin was about 30 to 50 feet from me, and his pans were loud. It almost hurts your ears.
mm,
There's nothing to compete with the noise, and there's nothing really to absorb the noise. So you're in the Sahara, in that case, in the White Desert, and there's nothing but you and your thoughts, and everything is amplified.
yeah.
Yeah, so even a whisper was, if you go watch that video, you can, it was last October when I was there, and it'll be my birthday when I'm there again this year. It's profound, and you don't even know that I was whispering, but it sounds like I'm almost yelling at you as I'm video recording it. So I think about what you do, Sifu, and how you have to pull in and really be present in the body. And as a master, tell people, new listeners, what you do. It's stunning.
Well, I've been doing martial arts for 51 years. I'm still a white belt because I'm always learning, right? I never will arrive. I will never, some people will call me master. I call myself a white belt. I'm always looking to learn. And so to be present in anything is probably the most important key we can have, right? If you were to open the door and you have a key and you open the door and then you shut it and then you put the lights on and you look around and it's a mirrors everywhere. What do you see? You see you, maybe for the first time. And so that's being present. And the beauty of martial arts is that it's an art for yourself. A lot of people think that I have to showcase myself. I have to, and no, it's me. It's about my body mechanics. It's about my mind. It's about the way I move. And when we first get started in martial arts, it is about all the external. It's the punching, the kicking, all that other stuff. But when you get deeper, it becomes the breath. It becomes understanding how you're standing. It becomes about the posture. It becomes about alignment. And so many people lack alignment in their life, in their relationships, in their business. And when you can settle in and get into that room and see you, like I said, maybe for the first time, so many people are looking outward, they never look inward. So many people look into a mirror and they see dirt. Well, maybe you got to clean that mirror because that reflection should be brilliant. It should be the most important person you will meet that day. It's the beauty. It's how God created you. If you go, oh, look at me, I'm heavy here, my face, my chin, my ears, my eyebrows, my eyes. All of a sudden, you're judging the creation when you should be admiring the creation. So yes, and when I teach martial arts and I teach the kids, I go, guys, look, I have a big nose. I said, that's a gift. They're like, what? I'm like, yeah, you know why it's a gift? So that you can pay attention to me. So you have to look at it. And they laugh, right? Just like you're laughing. But it's understanding that whatever we have, we should cherish. And a lot of people are not happy with what they have. And they try to change it. Plastic surgery. The book that really speaks about plastic surgery and that it doesn't matter how much you change the outside, it's the inside that really has to have surgery. That's where the real surgery is, the inside. The outside is superficial. Because guess what? Earlier, when I said to you, what's in the cemeteries? And you said skeletons. Well, guess what's we all are? We're all skeletons with all these layers on us, and it makes us look different. Right? We have DNA. Our DNA is unique and special. So look in the mirror without judgment and look in the mirror with admiration for the beauty that you are. And that's my mission, to help people see that.
So I'd like to go back to something because I want to stay on the subject of dreams, and I want to use something that you just said to go back to that. It is when you get in the quietness of you that you can actually figure out your dreams. So I want to hear from the audience. I want to know, what are your dreams?
Mm.
if there was no limit to anything, money, people, friends, even like I have a dog, but I have the perfect person to leave my dog with. So having a dog is not a problem. You know, I mean, I think she thinks she has two mothers and she's happy with that. When I am home, I am the mother. When I am gone, she is the mother. But I want you to get into just a little bit about that, pulling into that quiet space. I know for me, what had happened was I'd climbed Mount Sinai, and it's not an easy climb.
Mm.
And some of you know that story, and that my little guide, he's a little bit tiny, skinny Bedouin to my left, had on the full long dress, tunic, and I'm walking. It's cold, it's dark. I had a headlamp, thank God, even though it was a full moon, you couldn't see. You have to go with a Bedouin guide because you would get lost. It's treacherous too, and it's dangerous, and there's a lot of rocks and there's a lot of steps to climb and there's all these things. When he was walking beside me, I asked him, I said, "How many times a day have you climbed this?" He said, "Up to 5 or 6 a day." And I'm sitting there going, this from the very beginning is feeling like, you know, when you're in the gym and you're climbing that really tall, like 7 or 8 feet Stairmaster,
Right.
that's what the start of the climb felt like. So I'm doing my own pace and he's keeping up with me. And there's another Bedouin that has a camel that's trying his best to harass me to get on the camel. I swear to God, I think Egyptian men think the women do not have a brain and we need to listen to them. They're talking to the wrong chick. So when he finally left me alone, this little Bedouin guy said, "He doesn't see what I see in you." And I said, "Really? What do you see?" He said, "You are powerful and you don't need the camel." I said, "No, I don't. No, I don't." I said, "I have to walk this journey. It represents the dark night of the soul for me." I was going to the top of Mount Sinai and I was laying down all of the hardships, all of the things that I had overcome, all of the things that held me back, all the abuse, all of the people who had done me wrong, stolen from me, made me homeless, all this stuff. I laid down and said, "I did it. I walked. I ascended to the top of the mountain." So it was a very emotional time for me. And then I go into the museums and I see mummies for the first time. And then I go into the king's chamber and then I have these writings on the wall and I have water appearing in the sepulcher, where I was sitting there in the sepulcher in the pitch black, holding my abdomen and rocking and singing Amazing Grace and Hallelujah, and it is well with my soul. And I told my God, "Look, if I'm called to sing inside the sepulcher, you have to record." He said, "I couldn't. I was being electrocuted." But it was the nicest electrocution I ever felt. My whole body was being electrocuted, coming alive while you were singing. He said, "I'm sorry I didn't record." I said, "No need." And then that holy water appeared around the stones and they changed formation. And then I'm in the desert where it's quiet. And the contrast of those three things and being in the Red Sea, you know, and being told, "Baptize yourself in the Red Sea." And I'm like, "Really? In front of God and everybody, you want me to baptize myself?" I'm going to do that with this group for the ones who want to experience that. If they don't want to do it, great. Namaste. If they do, great. Get in line. We're going to do it. So I'm going to take them on the exact same journey, but being in the desert was the quietest of all of it. The most reverent, the most every breath you make. Hearing my spiritual God in the distance playing his bowls. He brought a bowl with him and he kept playing that bowl everywhere we go in Egypt. That solitude of going within and saying, "Who am I? And what do I want? And what is my dream?" And I'm going to tell you something, whether it's something big, I would say have one for other people, but have one for yourself. Because everything that you do is not just for you, it's for all of mankind. Like my client seeing the spirit moving and touching everybody in the water. You never know why you are being called to the desert, but spirit does. So
Agreed.
dreams are so important. And I say, acknowledge what those dreams are, figure out what they are, get into the quiet space where you can really start thinking about what is my dream. And if you don't know what your dream is, because nobody is commenting this morning, if you don't know what your dream is, then ask for the dream so that you can start manifesting it and saying, that is my dream. Every dream that I have wanted, everything that I've said, except for one, I still have this dream. I'm going to go to the top 10 spas in the world. I don't care what they are. I'm going to the top 10 spas of the world.
That's cool.
And I want you to know that no matter what it looks like, even if it looks like it's selfish, it's not. Your dream is not selfish. Your dream is not wrong. It is something you came here to experience it. So I think getting in that quiet space, I love what you do because you have to really be mindful of your body to move it and to use it and to defend and to, I think about you with Karate Kid, you know, that movie and how he taught him how to paint and do all these things in order to get him to do those moves. There's such discipline.
Mhm.
So I want you, Sifu, to come up with a personal dream.
Well, the only way this dream can actually come to fruition is if I take action every day. And it's to live over 125.
You want to live to be over 125?
Yes. I'm going to tell you why. Because my great 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 grandfather lived to be 113, had all his senses still. And so this is one of the reasons I created Sifu's Mind Body Method, to teach people how to live in order to have longevity.
Mm.
So I think about longevity as a possibility. But we live in a world where all these companies are trying to stagnate us because they want us to eat a chip, they want us to eat a cookie, they want us to eat all these processed foods that are going to eliminate our dreams, because we will be in a hospital somewhere instead of living our dreams. Dementia, all these things are more prevalent nowadays than they were back in the day. And the reason is because of all the sugar. And if you look at all the sugar that they're now trying to hide, and now they created all these different words for the word sugar, sugar's a drug. So when you think about, you go to somebody's house and they're pushing all these, what is somebody, when you go to a gathering at somebody's home, what happens after the meal? A billion pastries come out. Ice cream, candy, cookies, pies, this, that, the other. And I've been at houses where it's a 12-foot table and you can't see anything except all the pastries on it. And they're like, enjoy. And I know what they mean. They mean for you to be happy. But we forget that happiness is not living in a hospital bed. And they don't realize that by telling you to enjoy now, but suffer later.
Well, talk to me about 125 years. Why do you want to live that long?
I want to kick my great grandfather's butt.
So your dream is to outlive your grandfather at 113, but that's still 12 years longer. So why 125? There's a reason.
I didn't want to live 113 in one day. So I said, 125 is a really good number. And when I think about it, my dad, who lived to be 91, was born in 1925. So if I take the 9 out, then it's 125. I'm like, oh, interesting. But then I said, why am I limiting myself already? Am I going to die on my 125th birthday? And so now I say plus, because I don't want to put limitations on the possibilities. And that's why I love the word yet. I don't want to put a limitation.
What do you
on
want to
what
be
could be.
experiencing at 125?
Oh my gosh, everything. Everything.
Hmm.
I want to see what the world truly becomes, and it maybe help shape what it becomes through the actions I take today, through the way I help people. So for me, when I was young, the notation that I would hear from a lot of people, or you can't change the world, you're nobody. But if I change one person, and that person changes another person, and that person changes, and it becomes a ripple effect, then I did change the world. And so my one ripple, just like I said the other day, I said, if you throw a stone into a lake, it creates a ripple. But if you remove the stone, the ripple already happened. And it may continue happening even if you remove the stone, because it's going to go to the edges. So I might be the stone, but I want to create a lot of ripples.
So at 125, when you say everything, too generic, come on, give me. Are you want to play golf, baseball? What do you want to do at 125?
Oh, I'm going to be dancing, girl. You're invited to my 100th birthday party. And
I'm
so
old you.
when I said that to somebody, you know what they said to me?
What?
Oh, so Rafael says he's going to live to 100. I said, no. I said, that's my party. I said, we're going to have a party, and I don't want any nonsense, because there's going to be dancing, there's going to be fun, we're going to be moving. So at 125, I still want to be able to run, to work out, to do martial arts, to do everything I want to do, and prove to people that longevity, if done right, can be the most beautiful thing that you can do. But it doesn't start later. It starts today. So if anybody's listening to me now, don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow may be too late. Live today. Because listen, hey, I could die at 78. I can die tomorrow. I can die this afternoon. But my goal is not to die. My goal is to live. And every second, I'm going to cherish. Every second.
I think about there was a funny thing that I heard one time about living life fully. And instead of, picturing a baseball mound and you're running the bases and you didn't get dirty, you didn't get muddy, you didn't slide, you didn't. And then I heard, I want to be that person that by the time I get to home plate, my clothes are ripped and there's mud all over me. And I played, I dug into it.
Oh, yeah.
That is my philosophy about living. Why not enjoy it? My grandmother was 13 days from being 100 years old. She was born in 19. We counted there were 100 offspring. At that time, in the year 2000, there was 100 offspring from the coupling of my grandmother and my grandfather. And most of them have passed. Most of the children have passed. My mom and my mom's second to the last sister is still alive. My mom is 86 and spicy as hell. A handful and a lot to deal with. Let me just tell you. But She and her sister are still going, and her sister's 90, I think, or close to 90. And she has the mindset of my grandmother. My grandmother at 90 something years old was up on top of one of her trailers that she was renting and was fixing the tar on top of the roof. And my aunt said, "Get off the roof and you're coming to live with me." And so there's this longevity in the Smith family. So Joan, my aunt, was she got in this neighborhood and the guy didn't have a lawnmower. She went out there at 80 something and was cutting his grass. And I was like, wait, he's 30 and you're cutting his grass at 88?
Oh my goodness.
So
That's
I that's that kind of mindset that you're talking about though, right? Where you're living to the fullest. To me, it's not a date. It's funny because people keep telling me, even Katut's son was talking about my hand, you got a long life. And I'm like, I don't care about the long life. I care about the life well lived and experiencing it and tasting it and feeling it and being a part of it. That's what I care about. I don't care about the age. So that's why I kept asking you, what do you get at 125? What do you get?
I get to live. So think about, I don't want to be um, not able to move, not able to run, not able to do all these things. And so I want my life, if I write on my tombstone, he lived with joy.
Hmm. I have to tell you something that's coming to my mind. In Bali, we went to a butterfly thing, and there was a butterfly that was this wide.
Oh my goodness.
Guess how long this guy saw me taking a picture. It was coming out of its cocoon, and it had just completely freed itself and opened itself. And the majesty of that, and me going, "Oh my God, this is the biggest butterfly." It was literally a foot long.
Wow.
And I'm standing there staring at it, and this guy gently comes over and says, "Guess how long this butterfly lives?" And I said, "How long?" He said, 3 days. I said, "Why?" He said, it doesn't have a mouth. It
Mm.
can't drink. It can't eat."
Wow.
And I went, wait a minute. In 3 days, it procreates. It can't eat. It can't drink. It can't sustain itself. It only lives 3 days, but it
Mm.
procreates and keeps its generation and its breed going.
Mm.
It was a magnificent butterfly. And I said, "Well, how long do all of the butterflies live out in this park?" He said, "Only 2 weeks." And that was stunning to me, being in a butterfly park in Chattanooga, Tennessee. There's a really good museum. There's one for ocean and one for rivers, 2 huge buildings. There's a butterfly area in there, and it's amazing to go in. The
Mm.
park didn't have as many butterflies as that little small area in the museum and in Chattanooga, but I looked around and I thought, they're thriving with just 2 weeks. They're thriving with just 3 days. But how beautiful is that, that they
Mm.
lived?
That's it.
Yeah. I didn't know butterflies came a foot wide,
Right.
and
Me neither.
it was about 7 or 8 inches tall.
Ooh, that
And
had to be
at first I
gorgeous.
felt sadness. At first I thought, "This is sad, he only lives 3 days," and then I went, "No, look at what it accomplishes in 3 days." Yeah.
Well, it's very interesting. I was talking to my fiance the other day. We were driving, and I said, it's really incredible how many different species of animals there are in the world. I couldn't even count. But so many different species, yet they all live differently. They have different requirements, if you will. Some are vegetarians, some are eating this, some are eating that, some eating the other animals. But each one has a different lifespan. And for them, that's a full life. And what you talked about, 3 days, may be their lifespan and always has been. And for 2 weeks, that may be an eternity.
For a butterfly. Yeah.
Well, think about it, even a dog, right? We call them dog years, right? And they're like, oh, he's 21. No, he's not 21. And dog years, what does that mean? So for us, when we say 3 days, that's in our time, not in their time.
Right.
So the question that I'm going to have for you is, how long do you want to live for and continue to fulfill your dreams?
I don't really have a year. It to me, it's more about when I know I'm done. There comes a point, and it's, I'm 66. I'll be 67 this October. There comes a point that things don't matter as much as the experience of it. So even though I was homeless, and then I overcame that, and then I bought jewelry, and I bought things, and I had lots of shoes. It comes a point to where it's more about building memories and having things. Like, I'll tell you one really cool thing that happened. I fell in love with this elephant, Fatima. I did not know that Fatima was the elephant. As we were sitting at breakfast and we're watching, the handler brought this elephant in, and this elephant is just playing. She is throwing her trunk around, and she's going over to the water fountain, and she's wetting her trunk, and then she's doing her sound, and I'm recording this. I did not know that that was the elephant that we would be assigned to bathe, to brush, to touch. She kept wrapping her trunk around me and pulling me up against her body. And if you saw my pictures, you would see her leaning over to me or wrapping her trunk around me. And I was like, I know, I love you too. I love you too. Falling in love with that elephant and getting in the water with her and feeding her and touching her tongue. And she was hilarious because my client was with me, and we had these little baskets, and we were feeding, and she realized Maria was not moving as fast as I was. So she was constantly grabbing from my hand. My basket's empty, and I'm showing her, okay, you ate all of it. And then she looks at Maria. It's just funny how this elephant is in the moment, knowing she has the sustenance she's taking care of. And she was touching us far more than we were touching her. And then I watched other people after us and how they were scared of her and they wouldn't come near her, and how we were just laying on her and touching her, and she's wrapping us. And I mean, it was really, really touching. And then there was something else that happened. One of the drivers said, would you like to make yourself a piece of jewelry? And I said, like what? He said, like a ring or a necklace, and you melt the silver. And I said, let's go. So we did. And I made this. I'm going to try to
Cool. Yes.
It's a snake. And what is cool about this is that I actually did the divots in the snake with a tool. And I teach about the Cobra effect. I've even talked about it on here before. So for me, Sifu, it's not about the years. It's not about things. It's more about the experiences for me. And I have a feeling I will know when I am done, when it is complete. I'll just say, okay, now.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed our conversation today, as every time we have one. So we're coming back next week. I'm excited for that. And I hope everybody who either watched or watched the replay, or if anything, share this episode with somebody who needed to understand that dreams are important. Following your dreams, and don't go to the cemetery full of them. Go empty. So, Tammy, always an incredible pleasure. And we will see you all next week. Everybody have a blessed and beautiful day. Take care,
Okay.
everybody.